गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are on the 47th verse. तत्ते दन्ते अपि स्वतः. Wrong conclusion. तत्ते दन्ते अपि स्वतौ. दन्ते अपि स्वतौ. अमेव त्वमहमादिषु. अमेव त्वमहमादिषु. सर्वत्रानुगते तेन. तेन तयोरप्यात्मतेति चेत्. तयोरप्यात्मेति चेत्. Here he says, a doubt is raised. Just as the Sattvam is commonly associated with you, I, etc. is I, etc. So is the case with thatness and thisness. Therefore, the thatness and thisness is also worthy of consideration as Atma. So we have divided the whole world into this and that. What is the difference between this and that? You may never thought. What is the difference between this and that? What do they connote? That is something which is far away from us, and this is something which is closer to us. That is what. That is thisness and this and that. Tat and tad. So here he says, the doubt expressed is just as Swatvam, self, is said to denote the kutastha in everyone, yourself, myself, etc. The substratum is always the Swatvam, the self. Similarly, thatness and thisness is also associated with everything and everyone, as this Devadatta or that Somadatta or this chair or that pot, etc. Therefore, all that is denoted by that and this is also Atma. In other words, the teacher Vidyaranya Swami is bringing our attention that Atma is all pervasive. Nothing in this creation is outside Atma. No wave, we may call it wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, morning tide, evening tide, but all is happening in water. All the ornaments are in gold. Similarly, the entire creation. And what is creation? What are the two levels of creation? Individual creation and total creation. That is the relativity. The entire creation of all its names and forms, all its objects and subjects is not outside the reality, is not outside the self. Here the word used is Sattva. It's not outside the self. Because when we use the word reality, you think, oh, reality above the clouds. When we use the word Swatvam, self, oh, acha, meri baat ho rahi hai. Yeah, we are talking about you. That everything in this creation, is it not true that in the dream the entire creation is in your own mind? This 5 elements, the senses of every person, the thoughts of every person, the past and present and future of every person in the dream, the inert objects, the sentient plants, animals, human beings, gods, space, air, fire, water, earth, time, everything is in the mind only. And mind is nothing but consciousness. So where did the creation appear? In the mind, existing in the mind, goes back to the mind after you wake up. so is true for the waking state. This whole creation is happening in your mind, but you are thinking, I am in this creation. No, creation is in you. Then your whole disposition in this creation, it will not be running away, securing yourself, fighting for survival. The whole attitude towards life changes. Once you start accepting that the whole creation is in me, start appreciating. Realization is different. Start appreciating. If the way dream creation is in the self, is in the mind, and mind is nothing but the self, consciousness, so is true in the waking. The same rule must apply everywhere. Why one rule for dream and one rule for waking? Cannot work. Principles are all encompassing. Gravity is working in Australia and not working in Himalayas. It will work everywhere. It's the same gravity. The sun is shining. It brings heat and light. It is wherever it is, it will happen that way only. You cannot say, oh, this sun is cold today. You cannot say that. The teacher is saying, if this is your doubt, all that is denoted by this and that is also the Atma. The teacher replies, Te Atmatve Pyanugate. Te Atmatve. Sorry, I made a mistake. Te Atmatve Pyanugate. Pyanugate. Tatte Dante Tatastayoho. Tatte Dante Tatastayoho. Atmatvam Naiva Sambhavyam. Atmatvam Naiva Sambhavyam. Samyaktvadertha yatha tatha. Samyaktvader yatha tatha. If this is your doubt, O student, the answer is the thatness and thisness, although is commonly associated like Atma, yet they cannot be considered to be Atma. This and that cannot be considered to be Atma. Body, breath, mind, intellect cannot be considered Atma. Samashti and Vyashti cannot be considered as Atma. But they are but without Atma they cannot exist. Without Atma, they cannot exist. This should be our understanding. Just as rightness and wrongness, although commonly associated with everything, cannot be Atma. It is true that this and that are associated with the Atma also and not limited to I, you, he, etc. only because Atma is common substratum for all this. I have already explained this part. However, even then, there cannot be the Atmatva or I-ness in this or that and that. In I, there is no spatial difference because I is the very substratum of a space. Meaning, when you are taken the position of I to be the witnessing consciousness, that consciousness does not appreciate differences. From the self point of view, when we say the whole world is in the self, ask the self. The self says, which world? What world? Oh, the gross world and the subtle world and the no world is in you, it came out of you, it exists in you, it goes back to you. What are you talking about? The self will say. Because from self point of view, everything is only, there is only self. I can't even use the word everything because from self point of view there is no everything. Everything denotes multiplicity. From self point of view there is only unified experience. Just like you ask the sun, oh sun, thank you for heat and light. Bom bhurbo swatat savitur varanya bhargo devate. Thank you for tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. You removed the darkness, you brought the light. He says, what are you talking about? From sun's point of view, there is no darkness and there is no light. Similarly, from self point of view, there is nothing called variety. Variety is only in the creation and variety is only for the individual. This individual has come to be the witnessing consciousness. From the consciousness point of view, there is no variety. And this is your experience also. Every night you go back to sleep in the night, yes, you are not conscious, but there is no variety. That's when you are experiencing the bliss, isn't it? You have to just recreate it in the waking, consciously. So in I there is no spatial difference, because I is the very substratum of space. I is neither this or that. The witnessing consciousness is not this or that. The witnessing consciousness is not the gross body, subtle body, causal body. Subtle body, because this subtle body, why? It is very close to the Atma. That gross body, it is far away from the Atma. It cannot be like that. Therefore, thisness and thatness cannot be taken as Atmatva, the I-ness. We cannot take it as I-ness. Yes, they appear. They are not. They are appearing only because there is a substratum. But in the I, which we have recognized ourselves to be the witnessing consciousness, the substratum, the kutastha, from that I point of view, not the individual I, the substratum I, this and that has got no validity. Samyak vadeya yatha tatha. For example, rightness and wrongness, these terms are abstractions which can be associated with everything, but because of that they do not become Atma. Similarly, the sense of I-ness or being does not arise with reference to this and that. Similarly, the sense of I-ness or being does not arise with reference to this and that. The opposite nature of this and that with reference to Atma Tattva is reaffirmed in next two verses to conclude this thought. Tatte dante swatanyatve, dante swatanyatve, tvantahante parasparam, tahante parasparam, pratidvandvitaya loke, pratidvandvitaya loke, prasiddhe nasti sanshayah, prasiddhe nasti sanshayah. Thatness and thisness, self and otherness, you-ness and I-ness, these are well known to be mutually opposing attributes in the world, and there is no doubt about it. This is the way the world functions. Thatness and thisness, self and otherness, yourness and I-ness, all these are pairs of opposites. If there is no I, there cannot be you. If there is no this, there cannot be that. If there is no in, there cannot be out. If there is no up, there cannot be down. If there is no individuality, there cannot be totality. Understand? If there is no gross, there cannot be any subtle. Everything in the creation expresses in duality. One member of the pair opposes the other member. This contrary nature of these members in the pairs is well known in this world. Samshaya na asti, there is no doubt about this. So rather than focus on the opposites and trying to work out a solution. So when we talk about in-breath and out-breath, when we talk about the bring your attention between the two thoughts or between the two breaths, we are looking at contradictions. First thought is not the second thought. First in-breath is not the out-breath, and we bring your attention to the gap between the two breaths, or we bring your attention to the gap between the two thoughts. One thought has just concluded, second thought is just starting. There is a gap between that when you slow down a bit. So what are we doing here? We are not denying the appearance and disappearance of the thoughts. We are taking them as a tool. We are finding, our goal is not to give them validity. Our goal is what? To be the self. And that self is, you have to be that self in spite of the thoughts, not by obliterating the thoughts. So So thoughts are coming of the world in the mind, no problem. Whenever you get that special moment, what is that special moment? If whole day the thoughts are troubling you, before sleep and after waking up, the mind is naturally quiet. At that time, find the gap, be there. So the more we focus on the thoughts, the more we focus on the opposites, we are samsari. The more we are oriented towards the self, we are happy, we are content. So this is the benchmark that we must keep in our mind. Am I extroverted, thinking about the opposites? Because you will think only by way of thoughts. Am I giving validity to the opposites, variety, or am I giving? I'm having interest, curiosity, focus. I forget focus also, but am I being attentive about the self, which is in spite of everything? And that's where our attention has to go. कुछ बोले आप? The teacher further clarifies and concludes the doubt raised earlier. Anyataya pratidvandvi, anyataya pratidvandvi, swayam kutastha ishyatam, swayam kutastha ishyatam, tvantaya pratiyogyesho, taya pratiyogyesho, ahamityatmani kalpitaha, ahamityatmani kalpitaha. He says the kutastha chaitanya, the substratum, the implied meaning of swayam should be taken as the opposite of otherness. So implied meaning. The kutastha chaitanya is that unifying principle, and otherness is where the variety is, separation is. And what is kutastha chaitanya? Inclusive principle. While that of the you-ness, the aham, namely the chidabhasa, is the opposite. So, and the chidabhasa is imagined on the kutastha chaitanya. So just like you are seeing this specific light, bright light reflecting on this, similarly, chidabhasa is the reflection on the kutastha chaitanya, the special reflection on account of the medium. Anyatayaha pratidvandvi swayam kutastha ishyatam. The opposite of the other, anyata, is the self swayam. ये तो हिंदी में भी you understand. Anya means other, swayam means self. Is called the, and that self, which self? Which is uninfluenced by what is coming and going, which is inclusive of everything, which is undisturbed. This one fellow is undisturbed by everything. In fact, from its point of view, whether they are there or not there has got no meaning. Such is the kutastha chaitanya. And that you are, don't forget. नहीं तो concept बना के बैठ जाएंगे. We'll take it as a concept. Who is the opposite of you-ness? It is what you called aham, which is superimposed on the atma. You are the atma, but you are calling I am I. Which I? The one who was born, the one who is going to die, the one who grew, the one who is sick, the one who educated, the one who had, who is the patriarch or the matriarch of the family. So are you that, or are you the infinite I? So the teacher here is trying to bring you back again and again to the real you. You-ness is jiva, I-ness is also jiva, but the kutastha is not the jiva. Jiva, conditioned consciousness. Kutastha, the witness, is not the conditioned consciousness. Conditioned consciousness is waker. Conditioned consciousness is dreamer. What is the condition? The body in the waking consciousness, in the waking plane, that conditions, and when the consciousness is expressing, it's called as the waker, who says, this is the waking world, this is my parents, this is my body, etc., etc. In the dream also is similar. There, that is again a jiva, expression of jiva. But who is kutastha? The one who knows that all these jivas came and went every day. And they are only temporary. Waker is temporary. He is there, he was there. The waker from yesterday is not the waker of today. He is totally different. The dreamer from yesterday is not the dreamer of today. He is totally different. You can appreciate that in the dream, but in the waking we bring about a continuity. Why? I wake up with the same wife, I wake up with the same body, I wake up with the same parents, I wake up in the same house, I have to go back to the same job. So we have programmed ourselves that way. Deprogramming is what is required. Because why this is happening? Because in the waking state is a sattvic state. And in the sattvic state, everything is happening very slowly. And therefore you are not able to wean yourself out of this slow pace. You-ness is jiva, I-ness is also jiva, but the kutastha is not jiva. So from every point, the aham, tvam are in opposition to each other. So kutastha is always there. And the phenomena called the waker, jiva, dreamer, or the jiva expressing as the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, that is also continuously going on. In a realized person also, waking, dream, deep sleep goes on. He also gets hungry, he also is fulfilled after eating the food, he also goes to the toilet, he also goes walking, he also does exercise. That's what people see. So you think, oh, it is, but he is not attached to whether it happens or it doesn't happen. You are attached. We have to, Kailash ke pehle Dandenong chadna hi padega. Chad gaya ho. But not the kutastha swayam self in relation to aham or tvam. Aham or tvam are complementary opposites. Aham and idam are complementary opposites, just like subject and object are complementary opposites. But the kutastha is not an opposite of anything or anyone. Kutastha is self-established in itself, as itself. And that is your true identity. The same kutastha supports a saint and a criminal, a man and a woman at all points in space and time. Thus the opposition of the kutastha to the jiva is and is not, because the two belong to different degrees of reality. Where do the opposites appear? In relativity. Where does the kutastha appear? In itself. It is not part of the relativity. But right now we are using the word kutastha or the self for communication purpose. But you have to appreciate that this conscious or this kutastha chaitanya, it is the all-inclusive, one without a second, ever-existing, self-illuminating principle. And that I am in essence. That I am in essence. Don't shortchange yourself. You-ness is consequential only to the jiva, the chidabhasa, and not to the kutastha. When the ego, the jivatma bhav, becomes weaker, the proximity of the kutastha becomes longer. So this fellow, if you want to use this word, this is the kutastha, this is the jiva. Now in this example, only in this example. So this is the jiva. When this jiva reflected chidabhasa, when he was giving importance and value to everything in the world, it was called jiva. He felt, I was yesterday, I am today, I am tomorrow. As he slows down and finds that he is not the world, meaning he is not the thoughts, and the thoughts slowly disappear or dissolve, this fellow, whether they dissolve between the breath, whether there is a dissolution between the two thoughts and you are able to stay there for some time, then what happens at that moment? This fellow also gets his diet, the jiva's diet, the individual's diet is all the variety. If there is no variety for the individual, he goes back to being the self. More the variety, the more he'll be confused. The more his survival. The more the ego. Lesser the variety, lesser the ego. Lesser the individuality. No variety, no diet for the ego. Nothing to identify with. And this happens in deep sleep. He goes back to the original self. That is the kutastha. Now you cannot say in the jiva is also there and the kutastha is there. This jiva only appeared on, this was the aham and this was the idam. Where there is no idam, there is no aham now. The aham is kutastha. How beautiful. And this is happening to you all the time. Between the two thoughts, between the two breaths, continuously. So many times you are in samadhi during the day. But you don't realize because it comes and goes. But if you slow down consciously, and slowing down will not happen by thinking about the world and reading books. Slowing down will happen only when you are attentive towards this conscious principle. People want to slow down their mind by doing japa, but instead japa becomes full speed. That also keeps increasing in intensity. Japa is good. You are replacing other thoughts of the world by the thought of the Lord. But your attention must be on the, because a point comes where the japa is going on by itself. You find out who is that person who is watching the japa going on. You'll come to the conscious principle. If the chidabhasa and kutastha chaitanya are so different, why the distinction is not experienced? This is our problem. Why I can't see, just like I can see this is the right hand, this is the left hand. I can see I am the waker and I am the dreamer. I can experience that my mind was calm and quiet and meditative and now it is agitated. I can see that. Why can't I see that I am the jiva and I am the kutastha? Question, no? Why can't I experience that? Because both I am only. Jiva, where are we? And not the kutastha. When the ego, the jivatma bhav becomes weaker, the proximity of the kutastha becomes stronger. To be closer to kutastha requires inner strength, atma bala. Atma bala will not come from by interacting in the world. Atma bala, inner strength, will not come by reading books. I just told you before. It will only come by being attentive of the conscious principle. That is the source of the infinite energy. That is the source of infinite strength. When you contemplate on the Lord, He is the source of strength. Shri Ramaduta Atulita Baladhama Anjane Putra Pavana Sutanama. Ramadut. So Hanumanji, when he is in front of Vibhishan, he doesn't say that I am Hanuman, I am the son of, I am so powerful. Just before coming to Lanka, I destroyed the mountain range, I destroyed the Rakshasi, I destroyed the Lankini. No, he didn't go and beat his own drum. When Vibhishan asks, who are you? He says, Ramaduta Atulita Baladhama. I am the messenger of Sri Ram. I am the and through him I get this atulit, incomparable strength is expressed through me because of him. So dono, he tells how strong he is, but he doesn't take ownership of it. And we, yes, I did it. Automatically your language will change. Your expressions will change where you recognize that the power is coming from somewhere at a relative level. Hanumanji is in the relative, knowing fully well. This strength expresses itself as absence of anger, frustration or argument. Vado na avalambyaha, Narad Bhakti Sutra. Such a person does not get into unwarranted arguments, does not give opinions, does not discuss, does not get irritated. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya are all absent from such a person. Why they are absent? Because there is no otherness in his view. From his disposition, there is only one. If there is one, how can Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha come? All these aberrations of our mind, they appear only when we give validity to the differences. From kutastha Chaitanya point of view, from the self point of view, there is no otherness. So there is no question of all these Shadvikaras. Shadvikaras, 6 aberrations. The Pandita, a man of wisdom who is one with kutastha, does not waste his time in arguments or discussions. If the chidabhasa and kutastha Chaitanya are so different, why this distinction is not experienced? It is because the Jivatma Bhava is superimposed on the kutastha, on the unlimited. The limited is imagined, but the unlimited never becomes limited. So, we are the kutastha, we are the jiva, and after listening to all this, you are all nodding, you are accepting that you are the kutastha, but when it comes to interactions, again you will be a jiva. you will interact as if you are a jiva. You will not interact as the kutastha. The moment class concludes, is there any samosa left? Kutastha cannot ask for jiva is asking. Then what will be the disposition of kutastha? If it comes, it comes. It will come by itself. He will not go and demand. He will not desire. He will not aspire. He will not be ambitious because he is complete. See? So when we give value to the otherness, that very moment we express as a jiva. But can you stop the otherness from appearing in your mind? You cannot. You cannot. Let it come, but you don't react to it. You maintain the equipoise. Remain still within. Allow, just like when I say this statement, you watch what is happening in you. For so many years, the waker, dreamer, sleeper have come and gone. What happened in your mind? And you are the observer of all the wakers, all the dreamers, and all the sleepers. It is an undeniable fact with you, isn't it? Right now. Right now. When I make that statement. So you are, yeah, that is true. That I am not the waker, dreamer, sleeper. I saw them coming and going. So you cannot stop the world from coming and going. But if you react to it, you are giving value to it. If you remain equanimous, you maintain the equilibrium within yourself, then the impact of what is coming and going will not affect you. It may affect the mind, but not the consciousness. This is now explained. Ahanta swatvayor bhede, ahanta swatvayor bhede, rupyate dantayoriva, rupyate dantayoriva, spashte pi mohamapanna, Svashtepi moha panna ekatvam pratipedire. Ekatvam pratipedire. Although the difference between the ahanta and swattva, that is the jiva and the kutastha, the chidabhasa and the kutastha, is obviously clear. We are understanding. Just as the differences in the silverness and thisness, yet due to the overpowering impact of delusion, the kutastha and chidabhasa are considered to be one. They can never be one. Can the Purusha and Prakriti be one? Do you consider this table and me to be one? Possible ही नहीं लगता ना. At the relative level, the otherness, you interact with otherness, you desire otherness, you eat food and become one with it, then you feel the oneness still. Then the desire goes away. But in relativity, otherness will remain as otherness. But due to the overpowering impact of delusion, what is that delusion? Incomplete understanding, incomplete knowledge. Incomplete knowledge about what? Incomplete knowledge about the status of otherness and the status of the self. We are not clear. Even though we have studied, we have attended classes, still if this virus is continuing of otherness, then this is the problem. We are set up in the default settings are there somewhere. In the illusion of the silver and the oyster shell, there are two perceptions, thisness and silverness. Therefore, the knowledge is this is silver. What are the two prashnas? That something is, and the second is you have concluded this is silver. Something is other than you. From far away you are walking on the beach, you see, I can see something. It is a general knowledge. And when you come closer or even from far away, you imagine, I think this is a silver. Ahanta swatvayoho bhede. Similarly, the two perceptions, one is the aham and the other is the self, the absolute I. The sthita prajna is the one who has cut the attachment with the jiva aham and is one with the kutastha, who is not influenced by the climate of the world around him. I'm using Swamiji's words but I'm already put across this thought. See? So till you keep considering yourself to be waker, dreamer, sleeper, till you keep considering yourself to be born, till you keep considering that you are this body, God can only help. God also cannot help. God also cannot help. You have to determine that you are the conscious self. You are the untouched principle. You are the happy principle. Blissful, Satchidananda Swarup. Nothing in this creation can give you validity. Everything in this creation gains validity because you give it. And the moment you give it validity, you are a jiva. When you remain equanimous, you are kutastha. ये अभी एक्सपेरिमेंट करो, अभी भी करो. Absolute I is he, kutastha is he who is not influenced by the climate of the world around him. He is not affected by the climate, meaning he is not affected by the possessions, he is not affected by the influenced by the relations, he is not affected by the what is going on in the creation. He is not affected by survival. He is not affected by fears. Why? He is feeling. He is with himself as the undisturbed principle. Thus, the kutastha does not undergo any modifications, although modifications are supported by it and superimposed on it. Just like water does not go through any, you use this same complete line with the example of water. Replace kutastha with water. The water does not undergo any modifications, although modifications are supported by the water and superimposed on the water. Correct or not? Therefore, the jiva is an imagined, kalpita, superimposed entity. So, jiva, the individuality born out of as if identification due to incomplete knowledge. Identification is happening only due to incomplete knowledge. I want to study Bhagavad Gita myself. I want to have an independent study. That's why I'm studying Sanskrit. And what are you going to study Bhagavad Gita? No, I don't want to read someone's commentary. I want to understand myself. It's the biggest ego trip. God cannot help you. He'll say, go and realize yourself. I can't help. देखो कल्पित दर्पण दृश्यमान नगरी तुल्यम निजांतर्गतम. In the mirror, the world is reflected. You see it clearly, but it's imaginary. It's not real. It's appearing in its own absence. Similarly, this I, this individuality is also appearing in its own absence. You cannot have two consciousness, the individual consciousness and the absolute consciousness, the kutastha. मजाक बना के रखा है. You cannot have two consciousness. You look at yourself. Can waker and dreamer appear at the same time? Can mother and wife appear at the same time? The roles may change very fast, but they cannot appear at the same time. Can the jiva and consciousness appear at the same time? Now, I'll change that. Can the water and the wave appear at the same time? From which standpoint? From outside, if you see, water and wave are appearing. From water's point of view, only I am. Although the distinction is so clear between the ahanta and swatvata, yet under the influence of delusion, incomplete knowledge, one begins to think that this ahanta is swata, that this I, this ego, this individuality is the self. This is the mistake that we are all making. I have to do sadhana. This is the individual. You have accepted the individual as real, and now you are making this statement that I have to do sadhana to realize. From the kutastha Chaitanya point of view, any sadhana is possible? No. Any realization possible? Any realization possible? No. देखो, this delusion, moha, is so strong that even the existence of the bondage itself is not recognized. In Sydney, we were there. There's one person always comes and asks the same question and same problem. What is that? Oh, we have to do sadhana. And whenever someone says, I take the opposite. Sometimes I take opposite, not every time. If he says, I have to do sadhana, I say, no, you don't need to do sadhana. If he says, world is real, I say, no, world is not real. No, Swamiji, world is not real. No, it is real. He doesn't know which standpoint I am talking from. So, for me, if I take this standpoint from kutastha Chaitanya, world is also real because it is appearing in it. Essentially, everything is real, no? तो मेरे को कोई फर्क नहीं. It does not matter to me which standpoint I take from, as long as I am clear. But for him, Swamiji, you flip-flop too much. So He always finds a challenge to talk to me, but he seeks me out every time. Somebody, I want to ask something. आज क्या है? आज क्या है? So in this way, you can play this game only when there is utter clarity in your mind as to what your position is. If you keep considering yourself to be the jiva, the individual, after some time you will feel affronted. After that, he is just, I don't think he knows anything, and you will go away. Or if I am talking from jiva point of view, but making believe that I know, after some time I'll feel disturbed. Because where will clarity come from? Clarity will come only when you are integrated, when you have the clear picture of everything. Where are we? There is no sign of struggle to come out of the bandhana. So among the deluded people, like us, we keep giving lectures, you keep listening, and we keep going back to the samsara. Or we keep studying the scriptures. Scriptures should be studied so that one day you go beyond scriptures. You establish in the self. They are only triggers, they are only guidance. They are not the ultimate. There is no sign of struggle to come out of the bandhana, that is bondage. The jivatma bhav seems to be the only reality. There is nothing called as kutastha because of moha. The jiva has become so identified with ahanta that the kutastha seems to be non-existent. This is the story of all of us. Me, my children, my husband, my wife, my parents, my world, my how much money is there in the superannuation, how many years will it last, how many things more I have to procure that will make me feel safe. All this is jiva's ranting. Kutastha will not speak all this. What is the nature of this moha? If moha is the problem, if delusion is the problem, which is making us not recognize that we are the substratum, that we are the infinite principle, what is this moha? What is this delusion? What is this incomplete knowledge? What is this maya? What is this hypnosis under the clutches of whom we are unable to see clearly everything? Now the new topic. What is the nature of this moha? Tadatmyadhyasa evatra sa evatra purvokta vidyaya kritaha purvokta vidyaya kritaha avidyayam nivruttayam tatkaryam vinivartate. The mutual superimposition of kutastha and chidabhas is due to the ignorance. So why we are imagining the chidabhas, the reflected consciousness on the substratum is due to ignorance. Why are we imagining a wave on the waters? Due to ignorance, which has already been discussed in this very chapter. When this ignorance is removed, its effect also disappear. If I see now, I can't see the faces clearly. Eyes and nose are merging together. It's all going into one homogeneous body. So I want some clarity at the relative level. If I want clarity, I have to remove that confusion and correct my vision, and now I can see the differences. Everyone who as they are. Similarly, in here, that if we want to understand the kutastha chaitanya, the moha clearly. If you want clarity about the substratum, you have to remove the moha or the delusion or the incomplete knowledge. Then what are the effects of avidya or ignorance? What are the effects of ignorance? One more. This should be on your fingertips. What are the three expressions of ignorance? Or how does ignorance appear in our life as? Avidya, kama, karma. You said two, but one more. Avidya. Avidya is incomplete knowledge, which leads to desire, kama, and it makes you act in life, karma. And then you get caught up. So, how many karma you will give up, you will not be free of karma. As much a desire you try to, I'm going to give up my desire. You cannot give up desire. Because you are desiring to give up another desire. Desire is still there. Dekho. Therefore, this illusion, this ignorance appears, another way I'll put, one was ignorance appearing as avidya, kama, karma. Parallelly, if you want to put it another way, how does this ignorance express? It expresses as delusion and illusion. Delusion, it expresses as forgetfulness of the self. Illusion, then it projects what it is not. Delusion and illusion. Because we have forgotten who we are, therefore we are projecting this world that we are to complete ourselves. This illusion is caused by moha. The fictitious entity is considered identical with the reality. So, this is where the argument sometimes comes in the religion, and that is Shiva Shakti. And therefore, if you have attended our lectures on the first chapter of Amrit Anubhav, Shiva Shakti Samavesh. One reality alone became expressed as Shiva Shakti. Shiva is the unchanging principle, Shakti is the changing principle. Shakti is the changing principle. Both have come from the same. So those who are, they say, oh, we have to discard the Shakti to recognize the Shiva. And those who are Shakta Upasakas, those who are followers of the goddess, who represents the Shakti. No. Shiva got the form because Shakti gave him the form. Otherwise, he cannot get a form. Isn't it? So they follow, they say she is more powerful than the Lord Shiva. But they go into this argument. Their attention is never on that one principle. So, it is caused by the timeless ignorance, anadi avidya, described earlier. There is no reason or logic for the tadatmya between the jiva and the kutastha. Tadatmya means identification. Why this identification is taking place, that I am the jiva and I am the husband, that I am the wife, I am the consciousness, everything is all mixed together. Why this identification is taking place? It's happening. There is no reason. Question is, are you able to bring it to a stop? If you keep going into this question, when did the creation begin? When was the first aham getting identified with idam? Pagal ho jaoge. Because your attention is on the creation. Creation, when it began, I don't know, they say 2 billion, 3 billion, 100 billion. And that time who was there? But I heard they didn't have language. Then how did I become identified with that? There's no answer. Answer is only in the here and now. Why this has happened? I have some regrets. I did this, I did that, I shouldn't have done this, I should have done that. All that is over, past, dead, gone. What are you doing now? That is important, isn't it?
Alert from no backups for
I don't do
1,579
backups,
days.
man. I don't do backups. That is the form of Maya or Avidya which appears out of nothing without cause and effect. So, just as the reality, the pure consciousness is anadi, it is beginningless. Truth is beginningless and endless. Maya is also Maya is also beginningless. Nobody knows when it started, when this delusion began. You don't even know how you were born, how you were growing in the mummy's womb, and you want to know where the Maya came from. You can't come to know. But just like the truth, the Chaitanya, which is beginningless, Maya is also beginningless. But truth is endless. Maya is not endless. Maya can be, you can bring a conclusion to the effects of Maya. How? That answer is self-realization. You come to know. You are the constant principle. So, is the Maya able to affect the pure consciousness? No. So, at a subjective level, how I explain, I don't know if it is right or wrong, but it works for me. For me, mind is the Maya. For me, mind is the Maya at an individual level. Pure consciousness is there. On that pure conscious, and there is a mind. The mind is also beginningless. The pure consciousness is also beginningless. Pure consciousness is endless. The essential me, essence me. The waker comes and goes. Dreamer comes and goes. Deep sleep comes and goes. Samadhi comes and goes. But the pure consciousness doesn't come and go. When I become completely oblivious of this mind, I don't care whether the mind is there or not, then the effects, in other words, if I put it, if I come to a disposition wherein I do not react to even an iota to what is coming in the mind, then the mind has got no influence over me. Moha to tabhi hoga na. Delusion will only appear if I give value to the mind. But if I'm not giving it any value, I don't care. Swamiji says, kisi ko aao mat kaho, kisi ko jao mat kaho. Whatever is coming in the mind, let it come. Whatever is going on, let it go. I didn't call it, I will not ask it to go. So, the strength that will come from that. I should know, oh my God, where this thought has come, why did it come? I don't want to think of this dirty thought. But you didn't ask it to come. It came by itself. You keep watching, it will go away by itself. But the moment it comes, we go into a wrong spin. We start identifying with it. This is my take on my mind. But it works. In this form of Maya or Avidya, which appears out of nothing, and there is no reason why it comes. It comes. There is no reason why the sun rises every morning. Why does it rise?
It's nature.
Think. What is the reason that the sun rises? Now you will say, sun rises because the earth goes around the sun, and after one complete revolution, then the sun comes. Then you say, thank you for coming, the sun. He says, I never rose, I never set. Complete different status, disposition. What is your disposition? I gave one example here. What is your disposition? The moment you believe in the opposites, then you are waking, then you are dreaming, then you are sleeping. But you take yourself as the undisturbed, you don't give value to the mind, you come to be the continuous principle. You give value to the mind, you fall down to the jiva. Or you start imagining that you are the individual. Avidya or ignorance is incompleteness in knowledge. This is the famous statement made by our Jnaneshwar Maharaj. Maya is knowledge gained through the limitations of senses and mind, and therefore incomplete. When ignorance or incompleteness in knowledge is removed, wisdom dawns and the effects of avidya also disappear. So, all knowledge, there is paravidya, there is aparavidya. When we do Mundaka Upanishad, we'll see that. We haven't done Mundaka. No? Mundako, Dho Suparna Sakhaya, Sayuja Sakhaya. So in that it comes. Now we are doing Prashna Upanishad. In that Prashna Upanishad also, in the first chapter, remember we did Pran and Rai? Pran and Rai. That Pran and Rai is the two birds. The sun and moon, the day and months, in the month, the bright fortnight and the dark fortnight, all those, it kept bringing us back to the level we are at. Because that division is taking place in the relative. So similarly here, there is paravidya, there the topic came, paravidya and aparavidya. So the two birds are represented as the witness and the jiva. The one is content with himself, the other is picking on the fruits. Similarly, paravidya is uncaused knowledge. No, you don't need words for that knowledge, because you are that knowledge in essence. But when you think aparavidya, come down a bit lower, then the jiva thinks, I need the knowledge, I need to imbibe the knowledge, I need to collect the knowledge, I need to do sadhana to realize. This is aparavidya. Now, medium, books become the medium, body becomes the medium, guru becomes the medium, scriptures become the medium, various practices become the medium, and when it is practiced through the medium, you can never come to realize the self, because you are already that. Then why are we doing, why the scriptures are saying to do this? To quieten the body, to quieten the breath, to quieten the oscillations that, some people just, the leg is moving. You have to quieten that. Similarly, the mind is going so fast. You have to quieten that. For that, those exercises are told for those who are not able to catch that they are the conscious self. If I am the self, I understand. But now pain is there, body is, the acidity is coming. No, I am the self, it does not matter. I'll take medicine still. Isn't it? No, I am the self.
Word from Yahoo. Password required.
I am the self. I understood, Swamiji. I am the substrata, I am the kutastha Chaitanya. I am watching the hunger come and go. But sometimes the hunger will come and go for some time. Afterwards, it will catch you so much that you will eat whatever is available. We have seen that in the stories of Mahatmas, realized masters also. You see? There is no such thing as kutastha. The effects are, what is the effect? When ignorance or incompleteness in knowledge is removed, when the knowledge is complete, knowledge can never be complete extrovertedly. Knowledge can be complete only when I establish in the self as I. When this I, which first it was the jiva, ego, it became the witness, and now the witness has got nothing to witness. It goes back to being the original self, the real self, the essential self. This is completeness of knowledge. Jnana Mudra represents that. In the completeness of knowledge, there is no such thing as kutastha. There is nothing called as substratum, because these terminologies are used only in the relative language. From sun's point of view, there is no question of heat and light. From water's point of view, there is nothing called waves. From gold's point of view, there is nothing called ornaments. Similarly, from pure consciousness point of view, remember when we studied Amrit Anubhav, what is that? That Satchidananda chapter. He says, Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, he's telling his own experience. He says, Satchidananda are the words like an abuse to this reality that I am. Every word is only a part of relativity. And every word which comes and goes can only be a abuse to that reality which is complete. Because how can incomplete word describe the infinite reality, the complete reality? How can a wave describe the ocean? How can an ornament describe the world, the gold? For the wave to realize the ocean, it has to disappear as a wave, isn't it? Not physically, mentally. It has to disappear as a wave. This idea that I am a jiva has to be obliterated from your mind. And that is this obliteration is this. Even if it is there, I know nothing about it. I don't understand what is kutastha, what is jiva, because I am complete. This dialogue is not going on. Huh? We are just, in communication purpose, we are saying, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, all vanishes. Now the student takes up another doubt, which you may not have thought about. If avidya and the effects of avidya are removed, will the body exist thereafter? Because the body, the gross and the subtle, as well as the ahanta, are the effects of avidya. So these three, there is no such thing as kutastha, is the effect of ignorance. There is, even if it is there, I know nothing about it, another bluff. And the third, the result of not accepting that I am the conscious principle, the substratum, the resultant is I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. These are the 3 points given. Now what is the I am the doer and I am the enjoyer? The jivahood, the individuality. What was the kutastha? The infinity. This is what I said. The ignorance expresses as forgetfulness of the self. There is no kutastha, I don't know anything about it. Forgetfulness of the self. And then projection. What is the projection? I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. Ego comes about. हम कितना हम वर्कआउट करते हैं. You go to the accountant. The reason this example is coming, I am doing mom's tax. Oh, this expense has to be added. That I think, what other expense is there? How much we charge? How much this came? How much that came? It took me 3-4 hours to put all the figures together. पागल हो गया मैं. I was getting irritated by the whole thing. But if I get irritated, I'll never complete it. Then it got done. See? So is there any way to work out the pure consciousness? The best way is the way scriptures are telling us. And it's not working out. In that working out, the one who is working out vanishes. That's the trick. And majority of us, what mistake we do is, when we are working it out as an individual, we are looking for a conclusion. We are looking for an answer. We are looking for, and how that expresses. Swamiji, you went to Kailash. Did you tell me, what did you experience there? Something different, something unique? So when we want to sit in meditation, or when we are studying scriptures like this, we want an experience. We want self-realization to be an experience. It is not an experience. It is your natural state. And we sabotage the whole thing by looking for an experience. So now the teacher replies that although the avidya goes, its effects will remain for some time. So just like when this heater is going on, this heater is not the right example. If the fan was going on and I stop the fan, will you stop feeling the breeze? I'm asking, will you stop feeling the breeze? Yes or no? No. The fan is still moving. You have put the switch off. The momentum that was generated in the fan will make the fan still go around for another 1 or 2 minutes. And for those 1 or 2 minutes, gradually, first when you switch it off, you are still feeling the same breeze. And with every passing moment, the breeze becomes less and less and less and less, and eventually it concludes, isn't it? Isn't that your experience? Even in this room, if I put the heater off now, you will be comfortable for half an hour. Then you will start feeling the cold slowly. Isn't it? Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. The moment you become attentive on the conscious principle that you are switched off. But the momentum that is going on in the mind of desires, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, the default settings, the samskaras from your parents and whatever, the do's and don'ts, etc., it will take time for them to dissolve. But you give them value, you again increase their speed. You switch it on, again the fan increases. The speed increases, the breeze increases. So remain switched off to the world. Remain switched off to the mind. Remain as the conscious principle. Then how much time will it take for the mind to completely dissolve? Now you don't imagine that dissolution of the mind means a dissolution of all thoughts. It will not happen. Dissolution of the mind means you are uninfluenced by the thoughts that are coming and going. Remain in that position. And eventually, initially, after a few minutes, you get affected by the thoughts. Then as you continue the disposition, after a few hours, you are affected by the thoughts. Then as the time passes, then after a few days, some deep thought comes and hijacks you. Then after that, everything is over. But what happens to us? Swamiji, in Sydney only, yeah. They have been going to satsang in some organization for last 20-30 years. And Swamiji, I'm doing my japa, I feel very peaceful, this, that. But all the bad thoughts keep coming, Swamiji. I never met her. First time I met. I don't know, they were testing me or they're testing themselves. But this is the problem. When little bit agitation happens in the mind or thought eruption comes in the mind, we start worrying. I was being so spiritual. I was being in such a nice space. Why this disturbance is coming to me? Is God angry with me? People say that, isn't it? Have I done something wrong? And we go into self-blame. We feel guilty. And we think that coming of bad thoughts is a bad omen. From spiritual point of view, coming of good thoughts is also a bad omen. Ab kar lo kya karte ho? Now you do what you want to do. Coming of good thoughts and bad thoughts, both is bad omen. And you cannot stop the thoughts. Then what is that? Be undisturbed by the thoughts. देखो, the teacher replies that although the avidya goes, its effects will remain for some time. the lag is there. When you wake up from the sleep every morning, little bit, the sleepiness still continues for few minutes. When you are going to sleep, the world still continues to be in your mind. Sometimes one sound there and you wake up from the sleep because you're not completely gone to, deep into the deep sleep. Avidyavrittitadatmye avidyavrittitadatmye vidyayaiva vinashyatah vidyayaiva vinashyatah vikshepasya swarupam tu vikshepasya swarupam tu prarabdhakshayamikshate prarabdhakshayamikshate. The ignorance of the self and the resultant wrong identifications with the body, etc., are destroyed by the knowledge of the self. However, the elimination of the vikshepa means agitations, unwanted eruptions of the thoughts in the mind is called agitations. That is projection power and its resultant effects. Expect the exhaustion of prarabdha karma. What it is, we'll talk about it in our next class after lunch. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Shishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for a moment. Hari Om.